I built this cozy fall-themed outdoor library in a bind. It is embracing the dark academia aesthetic and the autumnal color palette of this gorgeous Storybook Vale biome. For this build, I wanted to combine two building kits that we got from two different star paths and see how well they can be used together to make a large structure encompassing an entire biome. If you love the dark academia aesthetic and decorating in your Dreamlight Valley, follow this speed build to see how this one turned out. Here is the list of items I will be using for this speed build, including items from Storybook Vale, Witchful Thinking Star Path, and a Godly Glamour Star Path. I will also be using the bind foliage to match the existing trees and color scheme. I'm starting the build in this right section of the bind, and for the main player's house, I'm using the Midnight Sun Temple, which is a bonus for the latest seasonal Mega Moonstone pack. But if you don't have it, I will also include the other house skin options at the end of the video. There are a few other houses that are perfectly good fit for this build as well. I started with building a greenhouse structure around the house, using the stained glass greenhouse pieces from the Witchful Thinking Star Path. And I want to place the walls all around the frames to have this enclosed half-circle pathway. There will be some gaps between the frames because they do not connect seamlessly at an angle, but I am going to cover the gaps with some pillars and foliage later on. I've had this chia field in my bind ever since the first week of the Storybook Vale release. Back then, all crops on the DLC map were bugged and they did not have that usual throbbing animation. So I don't want to get rid of this field because as soon as I harvest and replant them somewhere else, the animation will be back. So I just made this build around it because I'm not ready to lose my calm chia field. I think it looks so much better without animation. This way it's kinda like a part of the landscape. I put the wrought iron fence around it and continued building the greenhouse structure all around. I will have some cozy seating spaces underneath and covered walkways leading to the other sections of the library. Here I'm covering the large gaps in the greenhouse frames with the book arches and lampposts. Multiple arched walls will provide an easy way to walk around the biome. There will be also a main path going between the long rows of bookshelves. I'm also using the autumnal bind barrier to cover the arches halfway and combine it with the spring light archway, which is perfectly matching the green glass elements. Next, I'm building the library walkway using the ancient stadium walls and these white bookcases, which are among the few bookshelf items that can be placed outdoors. I will be adding the divine marble columns and the gold marble pillars in between wall sections to make this modular wall going around the coastline and wrapping around the greenhouses. I'm also mixing in some more stained glass elements to match the rest of the design. This part of the build is like building out of the Lego pieces, and the goal is to have every piece align and snap together to form this uniform large shape. I'm adding the bookcases across the entire wall length with the gaps to see the fire elements in the center of these walls. I really like that the walls are not solid but have these see-through arches, which will help to make this build look more open and light. I'm still calling this design Dark Academia because of how atmospheric and moody it feels. And the entire bind biome is heavily inspired by Dark Academia aesthetic, featuring some Gothic architecture elements, nostalgic atmosphere, and bookish decor. For the path, I decided to combine the gold and opal road for the outline and the main street path to fill the central area. But for the library walkway, I want to show some of that beautiful fallen leaves texture on the ground. So I turned the central row of pathing into diagonal tiles. I also added the stadium walls to the greenhouse frames around the main house. Turns out you can even place them underneath, so these two different building kits are definitely very good fit for each other. I think this sort of modular building items are always the best part of any star path when we can get them. And I wish we can get more items like this in the future star path especially. because it comes almost at no cost if you finish your star path. To the left side of the house, I want to have a sectioned off courtyard. There are already bookshelves embedded in the biome's walls, so this space will be like a tucked away cozy library nook. Next, I'm going to finish place and pathing and move on to the details. I added a few large trees along the biome edges and some smaller trees and foliage to fill those gaps around the house. And then decorated the side courtyard with a cozy reading nook space and a red novel tennis table in the center. To bring even more light to the library walkway, I'm adding floating candles and the new glowing clouds, which I figure can be used not just in Mythopia. On the side of the biome, I found a spot to put the beast stall. Its blue color doesn't really fit this build, so I tried to cover it with the trees and some other foliage to blend everything with the edges of the biome. There are so many alternative paths in this build. It is like a library maze that you can enjoy taking a stroll through in the sunset when the views are especially gorgeous. Each turn will unveil the new cozy corner to explore, full of nostalgic and academic atmosphere. I hope you enjoyed this build and it brought you some inspiration for decorating your storybook Vale or using the new Godly Glamour Starpath build items. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Next, I included the footage with other house skins instead of the Midnight Sun Temple. You could use the Vine Cottage, Golden Bloom Cottage, or even the base game Orange Cable Front House. Would also fit the overall color scheme and style. If you like the video, consider leaving a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone!